Good morning, dear students. I hope you are fine. So, today we are going to start your first chapter of science, that is crop production. In your lower classes, you have studied about food, components of food, nutrition in plants, and nutrition in animal, and all those things are related to food. So, in this chapter, we will study about how that food is produced by our farmers. So, basically, this is a food production or crop production, this chapter. And in this chapter, we are going to cover the topics like crop plants and crop seasons. We will study about different types of crops and then in which season that particular crop is grown, then the basic things that are being done by our farmers to grow that particular crop, like preparation of soil, then sowing of the seeds, then application of manure and fertilizers, then irrigation by different methods, then weeding, and then harvesting means cutting of that particular crop, and then storage of that thing. And at the last of this chapter, we will study about some sources of food that are obtained from animal, like your milk, eggs, meat, and all those things. So let us start. As we all know that all living organism food to survive, there is no doubt. If we are not eating food for a long time, we will definitely die. So food is the basic necessity of all of us. So food is obtained from either from plants or from animals. Plants, like we are getting vegetables and fruits, etc., from the plants, and milk, eggs, meat, and wool, etc., from animals. So the branch of science that deals with the growing plants and raising livestock for human use is called agriculture. Now, the word raising livestock means to say rearing of animal along with crop production. uh, the animals like cows, buffaloes, goats, etc., from where we get, you can say, milk, and then fishes, from where we get meat, hens, you can say, poultry. So all those animals, you can say, domestic animals that we do, that we rear along with the production of crop, and collectively they are called, you can say, branch of science that deals with, you can say, all these things is called agriculture. So next is cultivation of crops and breeding of animal have undergone tremendous advancement during the last century. There is no doubt that there is a huge change. If you ask from your grandparents, they were doing farming very simply. By manual labor only. They were having no machines at that time, no tractors, no, you can say, cultivators, no any kind of combines to harvest their crops. They are doing manually. But increasing human population has been a contributing factor. What does you can say main factor behind this, behind the mechanization in agriculture, is the increasing population. Because of the increasing population, demands are increasing, so we have to produce food in a small, you can say, small time, or in lower, in large, you can say, quantity. So for that we need machines. So the mechanization of agriculture is done with the last few years, within last few years. Next is your crop plants and crop seasons. So crop plants, what is a crop plant? Farmers grow plant in their field. When plants of the same kind are grown in a field on a large scale, they are called crop plants, or simply crop means same category. The plants belonging to same category are grown on a large scale in a, you can say, field. And now what is field? Field, the land where plants are grown on large scale. So that may be 1 acre, 2 acre, or in hectares also. So that is called field on which the same category plants are grown. And for example, crop of rice means that all the plants grown in the field are of rice. If we are talking about crop of rice, it means all the plants that are grown on that land are of rice. If we are talking about wheat, then all the plants of wheat. So plant grown by the farmer in the fields are called cultivated plants, and as they are grown or cultivated in field and looked after by humans, so these are called cultivated because we are cultivating these things. They are not, you can say, naturally grown. So this is in contrast to the wild plant which are grown in nature and unattended by humans. So they are not naturally grown, they are actually grown by the human beings, so they are called cultivated. The product which is obtained from crop is called produce. Whatever we are obtaining from that particular crop is called produce. The produce may be in the form of grains like your wheat, rice, etc., and that produced may be in the form of fiber, like we are in the cotton plants. Then we are getting cotton from that, and that is a fiber. and that can be a root also, because you have seen the you can say vegetables like carrot, radish, etc. They are underground and they are called the, you can say, root part of the plant, and we are getting that root plant. And then that is your stem part like potatoes, etc. So these are the all the things that we are obtaining from, you can say, different types of crops. Moving to your next page now. So we can classify the crop plants in different types on the two basis, on the basis of two categories, or you can say one on the basis of product obtained and another one on the basis of the season in which they grow. So firstly, on the basis of you can say product obtained, we are going to categorize the crop plants on the basis of product obtained, as we have done on previous page also. So the crops that are giving you grain crops kaun si hogi, for example your rice, wheat, maize, barley, oat, etc. Then pulses or legume crops. Legume means to say those plants which are able to fix nitrogen in soil, that we will read later on also. So legume plants like your green gram, like your moong dal, then pea, and then beans, etc. Then oilseed crops, from where we are getting oil, like your mustard oil that we use commonly, groundnut oil, then soya bean, all these things, sunflower oil, or all those things from which we obtain our oil. Then fiber crops like cotton or jute, etc. Then root crops, sweet potato, carrot, radish. Tuber crops. Tuber crops, those plants whose we are eating stem part of that particular crop. So potato, and you can say tapioca. So all these things are, you can say, tuber crops which are grown underground, and then we are eating stem part of that plant. So next comes your classification of crops on the basis of season in which they are grown. So we have two main categories, that is rabi crop and kharif crop. Rabi crops, which are rabi crops, wheat is the rabi crop. Just remember that wheat is a rabi crop. And then uh, as you all know now, wheat is about to harvest. So just check around yourself. Along with wheat, nowadays one thing is more, that is mustard. Mustard is there in winter seasons, and pea are there, and potatoes are there. So just relate all these things and learn 3 4 example of each type. So what are rabi crops? These are grown in winter season. As we all know that we all of us about 70% of us are belonging to farming background. So all these things are simple for us. So what are rabi crops? Rabi crops are grown in winter season. In At the near of the Diwali, you know that your paddy is harvested, and in the month of November and the end of November we grow wheat. So it is generally sown in the month October or November and harvested in March and April. As we all know that wheat is now, you can say, at its peak value, and we are going to harvest in next month or in this month. So therefore they are called winter season crops or rabi crops. So rabi crops are sown in winter season and they are harvested in March and April, like your wheat. And remember one example, wheat. And along with wheat, you know, nowadays we are cutting your mustards also. We are you can say farmers are you can say taking out potatoes from their fields. So relate all these things and learn 2 3 examples of rabi crops. Then comes your kharif crops. These are sown in the beginning of rainy season in June. As you know, paddy fields are you can say prepared by the farmers in the month of June. They are full of water in the month of June. So in June July we are going to, you can say, so the kharif crops, and they are harvested in September or October near Diwali festival. So therefore they are called summer season crop because they are grown in summer season. We are calling them as winter season or summer season on the basis in which month they are grown. So if they are we are growing any crop in winter season, that is called rabi crop. If we are growing that crop in summer season, that is called kharif crop. So kharif crop, the examples of kharif crop mainly that is grown in Punjab is paddy or rice, and then your cotton. So we are growing rice and cotton in a huge amount. Others are your maize, groundnut, jowar, pulses. These are the kharif crops. So then comes some question answers for you. The simple terms that you have to define: agriculture, crop, produce, kharif crop, and rabi crop. Agriculture, The branch of science that deals with the rearing of animal and production of crop is agriculture. Then what is crop? The plants grown in large scale on a large field are called crop. Then what is produced? The you can say the production of a particular crop that we are getting from a particular crop is called produce. Then kharif that are sown in summer season and harvested, and you can say September October, that are kharif, for example your paddy and cotton. And then comes your rabi crop that is grown in winter season and you can say harvested in April month, and that is your wheat, etc. So then the time they are asking you about the time period of rabi and kharif, then two examples of each kharif and rabi that I have already told you. So this is very simple. Now moving to your next page. Now we are going to discuss about all the practices that are being done by the farmers to completely harvest a you can say crop, from the sowing of the seed, preparation of the soil, to completely get the production of that particular crop. What kind of steps you can say are taken by the farmers, we will discuss those steps one by one. So the agriculture practices, what is the definition of agriculture practices? And that can be defined as the various activities or the tasks which a farmer perform to produce a good crop. So one by one you have to remember this like this. Then first of all, the farmers have to prepare the soil for the sowing of that seed. So farmers you can say prepare the soil. First one is preparation of soil, then sowing of seeds, then application of manures and fertilizers. We add different types of manures and fertilizers to get good yield of that particular crop. Then irrigation is being done, means watering the plants. Then weeding, what are weeds? Unnecessary plants that grow by itself and you can say take the nutrition from the earth and thereby reducing the yield of that particular crop that we want to get. So weeding is done by the farmer. Then harvesting means cutting off that you can say crop, and then your storage. So first one is preparation of soil. What the farmers do for the preparation of soil? Plants are grown in soil. They obtain their water and nutrients from the soil through their roots. As you have studied in your 7th class also, that there are two tissues in plants. One is xylem and phloem. So what does xylem do for the plant? They suck the water from the earth and nutrients from the earth for the plant. So as you all know that soil is very important for the plants, because plants are getting water and all the nutrients and minerals from the soil. So the step preparation of soil is very important. So roots are held by the, as you know, the roots are held in place by the soil microbes and all the other organisms such as earthworm helps to increase the soil fertility. So it is therefore important that soil is well prepared. So well preparation of soil is the you can say most important step in your crop production. So there, that can be done by two steps. One is plowing and another one is leveling. So in these two diagram, in the top one 1.5 figure, they have shown plowing by bulls, and on figure 1 and 2 1.4 they have shown you two types of plows. That these kind of plows are used in earlier times at the time of our grandparents. Now we are not using these types of plows. Now you have seen cultivators having a number of plows attached to a single machine, and we can plow a field in 1 hour or 2 hours. They are doing this kind, they are using these kind of instruments at that time, and it was very time consuming. So nowadays we are having you can say very good machines, cultivators that can plow our field within few hours. So what is plowing? The first step of preparation of soil requires loosening and turning of the soil. So the process of loosening and turning of soil is called plowing or tilling. So what is the purpose? To lose the soil, to soft the soil. The hard soil is not suitable for plants, so they will not you can say grow their roots deeply if the soil is hard. So first step is loosening of the soil, and that is done by plowing. Now what are the benefits of doing plowing or tilling? So loose soil contain a lot of air spaces in it, so aeration becomes good. If the soil is loose, it will provide enough air to the plant. So plant roots. So that is why loose soil is very important to breathe. Plants actually also breathe through soil, as you have studied in your 7th class also. So that is a different thing, that is plants also do respiration. So they take, you can say, their gas from soil, or you can say breathing gas from soil. So that can be done only when the soil is loose and having proper aeration. So that is why loosening of soil or plowing is very important. Secondly, loose soil allow the roots to penetrate deep into the soil, thus the plant is fixed to the soil firmly. So if the soil is loose, roots will be able to, you can say, hold to go deep inside, and then plant will be strongly held by that soil. Moving to your next page now. Why plowing is a necessity? Plowing uproots the undesirable weeds or plants and kill them. So when we are doing plowing, when we are loosening the soil, if there is any kind of a self-grown plants, they will be taken out. Then loose soil mixes uniformly with manures and fertilizers. If the soil is hard and if we are throwing manure or fertilizers, then they will remain as it is on the top surface. But if the soil is too loose, then they will mix properly with the soil. Next comes loose soil help in the growth of earthworms. So what are earthworms? Basically they are microorganisms or microbes which are very beneficial to farmers. They are called farmers friend. So they you can say they provide nutrition to the soil, they add nutrients to the soil, also they make the soil loose, and they add humus to the soil. So they are friends of you can say farmers, and they can be grown in the field, or they can be present only if the soil is loose. If soil is hard, they can't exist in hard soil. So that is why also plowing is important. Next one is plowing bring the nutrient rich soil from the lower layers to the top and make it easily available for the plant use. So plowing brings, what plowing does, if there are some nutrient rich soil is underground, they will plowing will bring it on the top side. So that is another one important utility of plowing. So we can say that plowing is very important step. So plowing or tilling is done by using the instrument plow, as that was shown in the previous page in this figure 1.4. A and B both are the plows. So but they are used in earlier times. Nowadays that has been replaced by cultivators, you can say. So next is, sometime manure is added before plowing. Plowing help in proper mixing of the manure with soil. As you all know that when the field is empty, our farmers you can say um, um, spread manure in the field, and then plowing is being done. So after plowing, the soil the manure mix firmly nicely with the soil. So this is the benefit of plowing. Then is leveling. Then comes the leveling. So leveling diagram is also shown on the previous page. This diagram 1.6, this is plowing, and then leveling they have shown this kind of leveling in figure 1.10. This is also an old type of leveling. Nowadays, you know, computer based machines are there for leveling the fields also. So they level the field in such a way that if it will look like a good playground, etc. So leveling is what, to remove all the, you can say, hard stones of soil, crumbs of the soil, and make it smooth and leveled, so that if you are irrigating your field, whole field will get water properly. So this is called leveling. Next is that, let us continue in the next part now. This is your first part of the video of this chapter. Next we will continue in the next part. Thank you.